Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be here in sunny California with my co-host, Kathleen Bradley. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you and me together today in this beautiful California weather that we're having.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little rosy, toasty to say the least. And we're here with Kelly Perine, a legend in your own way.
Stop it! But you're right. Continue.
So let's give you the flattery. Comedian, 30 years in the business, formally trained, and also obviously stage and film. But, you know, of course, we love you most for One-on-One, which has come back again and again. And of course, I know you've done other things too, which we watched. You know, we've seen you on Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Steve Harvey Show, Nickelodeon series. So you guys start with the comedy.
Well, but yeah, look, a lot of things, you know, a lot of people think I'm a comedian.
Okay.
A comedian in terms of, you know, I go out on the road. I'm like, hey, what is it about, you know, airline food? I'm actually not a comedian. I've done stand up once or a couple of times, but I'm not a comedian per se, as people think comedians are. Hey, where can I see you out on the road? That's not what I do or who I am. I'm actually, you know, a academically trained actor. I went to undergraduate school at Pomona College, where I got my degree in film studies. Then I went to University of California, Irvine, where I got a master's in drama. And so, I mean, I understand the comic beats by doing Shakespeare, Fugard, all those type of things. So a lot of people think I'm a comedian, like, hey, what's going on today? Hey, when's your next special? That's not what I do per se. I'm an actor.
Sure.
And so a lot of times I don't want to, because what comedians do is a whole different skill set, a skill set that I don't have, and a skill set that when I see trained comedians do, I go, that's a comedian. That's what they do. But when I get a script and I look at something and I say, okay, here's what the character says, here's the beats, that's a whole different skill set. And I think that, you know, I'm, like I said, I say I'm not a comedian because I want to give props to the comedians out there that put together their sets, work on it, go to, you know, comedy clubs day after day after day, night after night after night, try to find their love on, you know, the stage. So I won't take anything away from them by saying I'm a comedian. You know, I'm a comedic actor.
Yeah, comedic actor. I was going to say you're an actor who has comedy timing and improv and
not mad at that.
Everything. Yeah, you do that well.
Not mad at that. I did improv all through college and did all that. But I want to give comedians who do their thing, their props, and other folks that do things, their props. Because I think a lot of times it gets confused because I think people go, well, a comedian's funny. They can just act. And we can go through a list of people and comedians and folks that have been given their shot, and the shows are what they are. And I understand that the industry and the studios go down to the Comedy Store, go down to the Laugh Factory and find funny people. And then they try to implant them in shows and that type of things.
It's a reverse. You get the comedy first, then
sometimes it doesn't work. When you have scripted things, there's a different skill set that a person needs to have. So any comedian out there that wants to be on a show, take an acting class, do that, understand structure, understand the beats, understand rules of three, understand all the things that a lot of actors who are trained to understand how acting works, study that.
And so you've put a lot of time and work, as you already stated, into really being prepared. Talk to us about sort of how that really sort of translated into actually getting work, because a lot of people have studied and been to some of those schools that you mentioned.
Well, yeah, like I said, what I did was my dad was a performer. I grew up in central Pennsylvania. And my dad was a professor, and he also was an actor. He was a singer. So I was on stage with him since I was about 4 or 5 years old. So he would bring me to his theater shows. to his theater thing. So I was on stage since I was 4 or 5. So in terms of looking at scripted material and trying to figure out where the beats were and what was funny, I've been doing that. I'm 55 now. I've been doing that, since I was 4.
Wow.
But what was that key moment that you really felt like I've got the talent or I've got to put in the work to really be
I think the key moment was when I went to the principal's office.
That's not the first time we've heard that story.
And they said, you can either get attention in detention or get attention on stage. And I said, okay, let me try the
One
stage.
of those pays.
Let me try the stage. Let me try to be on that. Look, I was a class clown. I liked attention. I love attention. Still love attention. A lot of people love attention. All good. There was a moment where I said to myself, you know what? I could get better attention, positive attention, by doing that play, by doing this. I can sing. I can act. I can do all that. I can get positive attention by doing this than by acting out. Mm-hmm. Don't act out, act in. Act in a play. Mm-hmm. Act in some things. Act in, things that can get you positive attention. Mm-hmm. So, my parents knew that I had a lot of energy. Sure. Still do. And they go, well, let's put this child someplace. Sure. Goddamn. Yes. I was in soccer, wrestling, baseball. They're like, what? Where else can we put this damn child?
And what helped it crystallize though for you? Because it's still a big challenge to figure out how I'm going to come over that and feel confident enough to say I've got something to deliver.
Well, I don't think acting and all that stuff is anything in any way different than a lot of things. If a person has a skill or they have something that they say, you know what, I like this. This makes me feel good. They're athletics, mathematics, anything. They go, you know what, let me go ahead and follow where some of the passions are, where some of my yeses are coming from. Yeah. Let me go ahead and follow that. And let me try to get some positive attention. I think, look, I'm not a parent or anything, but I think kids need to be, praised for the positive things that they do when they go towards something. Right. I know that no parent wants to have their child go, I want to be a drummer. Because they gotta haul those goddamn drums everywhere.
Right.
And
tell me about
keep the house
up all that everywhere. If the child goes, I want to play the flute, much easier.
Right.
A little less stressful.
Much easier.
Easier lift.
But if the child wants to play the drums, find a way to get a drum set.
Yeah. Well, now they have it where you do it automatically on the little keyboard. I mean,
all that stuff. I don't know from what kids do, not trying to.
You don't have any children, obviously.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Or that you're claiming legal.
Oh, I'm not claiming none of them. Even if I do.
Their DNA.
So talk to us about that big break when you knew now, okay, I'm on my way.
I've never had a big break.
Okay.
I've had a series of little rungs on the ladder that have led me up to things. My first big break was I got out of school and I got a commercial for Coors Light, and that paid for my transition from grad school to there. Yes. Then I got an episode of Drew Carey show where I got 2 lines, and that was there from there. And then they go, okay, you know what? We're going to do more episodes, and hey, you kind of came in and you did great. We're going to give you 4 lines. Okay, boom, another rung. Right. Okay, you know what? We're going to take those 4 rungs, 4 lines. We're going to give you, 8 lines. It's all mathematic. It's all that. It's all this rung leads to this rung, leads to this rung, leads to this rung, leads to this rung, leads to the ladder that leads you to your success. I know everybody wants to just get their big break that shoots them over the moon. Right. I get it. I know it. I understand it. Hit the lottery. I get it.
It's all
I look in the paper every day and someone has hit the Mega Millions.
Right.
And
I've never met a lottery winner. Yet when I go to Beverly Hills or Bel Air and all that stuff, all those houses are filled with people.
Right. And you wonder
Filled with
what they
people that
do.
have professions,
What do
filled
they
with
do?
people that did their things, filled with people that went to school, filled with people that did all of that stuff in order to do it. Actors. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Acting, being a rock star, you need no credentials whatsoever
Correct.
in order to call yourself an actor. You need no credentials whatsoever in order to call yourself an actor, a writer, a producer, a director. No credentials whatsoever. There's no barrier to entry to call yourself any of those things. So if you tell me that you will say to somebody, hey, you can come and you can be part of the greatest industry ever. Hot, move, money and this and sex and women and that and men and that, and you need no credentials whatsoever.
Right. A lot of people coming.
That's why the planes, the trains, the automobiles, all of those things are filled with people coming this way.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
So that's why Hollywood will always be something that attracts folks that have a dream and don't want to have to work.
The land of
Well,
opportunity.
it's still working, but maybe
No, it's not
with
working.
credentials.
No.
Some
Well,
of
you
it-
enjoy
no.
it.
But some people don't work at their craft, and you're right. They do need to.
Yeah,
But then again, some
because
people
there's no barriers to entry,
Mhm.
there's no bar that they have to fulfill other than come and break, the LA County barrier in their car.
That's
So
very
I
true.
understand what you're saying, and I'm not mad at you. I get it. I'm not mad at you guys. I'm trying
That's the way
to
it is.
tell young people out there that think they're just going to make it. The unfortunate part about our industry and what's going on is a lot of people think that it's an industry where you go, well, okay, it's a work project where I'll go, I'll get some work, I'll book a couple parts, I'll get money doing that. I'll do it. Then I'll take acting classes. It's like a work study program.
Right. And I'll be out
People
that way.
think Hollywood is a work study program where they will come here, they'll get their work, they'll do it, and at the same time, they'll be working their way to being a star. They're wrong.
Mhm.
No one says this to them.
Sure. What would you say that they need to also realize besides the preparation? Because clearly you had that.
Yeah, again, everywhere people are from, they're from. There are acting schools where you're from.
Right.
There are universities where you're from.
Right.
There's acting teachers where you're from. There's community theaters where you're from. There's all sorts of things that you can do. There's plays where you're from. There's all sorts of things that you can do where you're from that you can do to get good before you come.
Yes.
We just had an actor strike.
Right.
And we had 100,000 people striking, and only 16% of them made $26,000 in order to be able to support themselves in order to get health insurance. What do you think the 86 other percent were doing? Were they unqualified for it? Yes, a lot of them, yeah.
Okay.
Because they came because they were ill prepared.
And they're lucky to get in the union, first of all, some of them, because you have to be in the union if you're marching out there. Think about that.
I'm not even going to talk union politics. I will talk about whether or not an industry that doesn't have any barriers to entry, that is seemingly a great industry, attracts people.
Right. Exactly.
Sure.
That's all I'm speaking to.
Right.
I'm not a SAG representative.
No,
I'm not an
understand.
ACTRA representative.
Okay.
I'm talking about what it is I understand about the industry I've been in for 30 years.
Right.
And here's also what happened during the strike. The industry I kind of came into 30 years ago was fun. It was cool. There was a lot of people that loved what they were doing, the people that were running some things were partners in creating art.
Right.
Acting, writing, producing, directing. This is collaborative. This is not a bank. This is not a business. This industry is collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
And what they said to us during the strike was that you are actors, writers, line items that we will block out, strike out, because we don't need you.
My name is Jenny Adulo, and I'm in Los Angeles in front of the Netflix building where actors today started a strike. Their demands: higher pay, better deals on residuals for streaming movies and shows, and protection against artificial intelligence.
For the last 10 years, I've been doing co-star, guest star roles in television, barely being able to scrape by, although I'm on network television. The residuals are smaller and smaller. We're trying to have a living wage. We don't want to be replaced. We think it's just ridiculously unfair.
They want us to give up the rights to our words, our likeness, our image, our bodies. They want to scan us and then put it however they want, without our permission, without paying us.
Today, actors are joining writers' strike, who's been on picket lines since May. This is the first actors' strike against TV and movie productions since 1980, and the largest nation strike since 1997.
And after 30 years in the industry, I said, people.
Right.
Really? We are no longer in a collaborative situation where you're trying to create art, you're trying to do this, we're trying to do this, I'm trying to act, and we can all make money. They said out loud, you guys.
Right. You can do it without us.
You can do it without us. They said it out loud.
It's a dog eat dog business that always
And
has been.
do you
and always
sense that
will be.
that level of betrayal is surprising?
Is the level of betrayal where someone says out loud,
Because it's happened to so many
betrayal?
other workers who
I
have
guess,
requirements to get in.
Yeah, right.
And yes and no.
And not even
I guess
acting
we're in
in the
America.
Right.
Right.
I guess we're in America, and there's probably nobody out there that will say, I'm not a capitalist.
Right. I'm not saying it should be that way. It's just a matter.
Look, I don't know how it should be.
Right.
I think Hollywood and collaborative, and I think Hollywood and creative arts should be collaborative. And I think people can make millions. They can do everything. They can do all of that. For some people, it seems like there's never enough.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
there's enough here for everyone. But
Look,
the
we
thing
know.
is, now, have you ever thought about going on the back end or doing the producing, directing, or writing, or anything of that nature?
I do
He
that.
does.
You
Right.
do
I
that.
do that.
Okay.
I do write.
So,
And I do produce and I do direct. A lot of them are short films for, proof of concepts, stuff like that. I'm not waiting. Again, I'm not a comedian who's out there. I don't have any other source of income other than doing what I've done for 30 years. So yes, I write, I produce, I do stuff. I do a proof of concepts. I fight these cats. I get into rooms and I get into arguments with the CEOs and I walk out and I do all that. But I've been here long enough where I've got a little nest egg.
Right. And your
Right.
ego is not so fragile that you take it personally or internalize it.
You think Hollywood wants a 55-year-old non-comedian? They're going to give me a contract tomorrow?
Right.
You kidding me?
well, I mean, it
Sure.
happens.
I-
It happens. Keep going and doing what you're doing. Obviously, you're going to do
Of
that
course,
anyway.
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and
But-
doing all that. But again, that's a lottery philosophy. If I think Hollywood is going to say tomorrow,
Right.
we need black 55-year-old men to be the stars of our show. They got Kevin Hart. They got all these people. They have all the people that they want. So I'm out there creating the that I have to do
That's right.
despite what they ask for, what they want them.
That's what you have to do. You have to
And so
create
do you
it.
sense that this is some of the key things that as people are getting older in the industry and have the experience, need to be able to already plan for? as I'm 30, 40 years in the business, my roles can change. I can still be active and involved, but it may not always be in front of the camera.
Everybody at this point in time needs to plan for the fact that they don't give a about you. Every woman, every gay person, every black person, every Asian person, every anything of anything that has to plan for the fact that they don't give a about you. And that's okay.
Right. Because we see it other places.
Yeah, we see people being replaced all the time, and people being out of the industry for the least little thing. If you say something,
let's be honest about
they
it.
don't care.
But let's be honest about it. It's okay. They're out there to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you have the internet, you have Instagram, you have all that, you have a million other people every day going online who are trying to go viral. Why? Because they want to be stars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Make money.
Which I know has never been your major aspiration. That's not what you came here to do.
Not necessarily. No. So as someone 30 years in, I've seen what has happened.
Sure.
I've seen it go from, hey, we're kind of all in this together.
Right.
We all want to make art. We're all making money. I've seen it go, hey, you know what? People are fighting for inclusion, which I'm not mad at all as a black man who's trying. I've seen it go to, hey, we want to keep giving it to the same people, to, hey, we're shutting the industry down, to, hey, we will replace you with AI.
Right.
I've seen all of it. I've been here 30 years. So someone who comes and talks to me right now and goes, hey, I'm going to audition my way into stardom. I go, oh, young person. Ugh, oh, God, young person. God bless you.
And so what are those pearls, though, that you would have? They've got to be old enough to be able to hear it. So maybe 40 is that magic number. And they come to you for
40. When someone's 40, if someone's 40 and they've been here for a while, they believe that they're late or they should have already had it. So you can't tell a 40-year-old anything because they still want it immediately. They believe they should have had it.
Well, then too, you have to look at the age ranges nowadays as well in the females and the elderly, the older sect, I'll say. Sometimes, and I've gone on commercials, you fall into different categories. I find myself having to wear a gray wig just to get in to a commercial for my age range, even though I don't look like it. So things and the dynamics have changed so much. Like you said, I'm 50 years in the business, and I understand what you're saying, how things have changed. But a lot of things are coming around, but they don't even pay for the commercials and the buyouts. Are you going in for the buyout? Not like they used to pay. When you had, when you had that money, you got that commercial, that first one you said you got that big commercial.
Helped.
That money was good.
It helped.
They don't pay like that anymore. You can't have that same commercial because they're cheap and they're still making money.
Right.
I'm sitting here talking to you. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I believe that part of the answer is to say them. And part of the way we can say them is we can divest from waiting for them to give us what we need.
Mm-hmm.
We need to maybe create our own shit. For 10 years, people who wanted to come and become stars and thought they were good, maybe they need to not come or come with an understanding that they will have the acting passion and a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
They will come with a different understanding.
Okay.
Maybe people who have been here will go, I've been here 30 years. I have to change how I'm thinking. I have to change my expectations. I'm here 30 years. And I may have to do some different than I did before.
Instead of just still keep going
Instead
after
of
the
just,
auditions.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I have to do some different.
It's frustrating.
Maybe people, of course, maybe people have to say, everybody out there needs to get a therapist immediately.
Well, maybe the whole country could use
Get
that.
a fucking life coach.
Well, I want to jump into something positive that somebody who you know well.
Or become a life coach. That's your side hustle.
That you'd be good at that.
That's your
Right,
side
we're gonna
hustle.
get the-
I'm gonna be
we're gonna get the clients who
I
can't afford to
ideas.
pay
You need a
you.
life coach.
I need to do Kelly talks, TED talks.
Yeah, you should.
I need something that pays my mortgage.
Right. Well, the problem is finding the clients that will pay. Most of them can't afford
They'll
to pay.
pay.
Sure. I want to run back too because it's such a favorite. Would you have expected, on the positive note, the success of One-on-One coming back not only to Netflix but also Cozy?
Well, again, this is now my rants are over. I'll talk.
We love you.
I'll talk about it. Man, One-on-One was a pleasure for me. I was just out of school. On One-on-One, you know, it was me, it was Flex, and that it was people that were on the stuff, and I was like, man, I was just happy to be there because I was an actor happy to act,
And it was collaborative.
yeah, and it was collaborative, and it wasn't anything whatsoever about I don't know how far this is gonna go. It was about the fact that, oh God, I'm allowed to
amazing.
come to set every day and do this for a living
Right. And get paid.
and get paid. Come on, say less.
Exactly.
Right.
So this week, each individually, not knowing, I got a note from Flex and from Shanice, both of whom wanted to be here. They're not even in the city today. And they each said individually, Kelly is amazing. Please let him know that we would be there. But what a joy to work with him. And I'm so glad you're having him on.
Hey, man, again,
30 years.
I appreciate them so much. And again, 30 years in, from the first day I stepped on that set, my philosophy has been this. I was just there to be a problem solver. There's some lines that needed to be said. I'll say them. I'll come in with energy. I'll show up on time.
Right.
I won't do that. I'll come in,
No drama.
whatever the director says, I'll
Right.
help with. I'm not
No diva.
this is what I say to young actors. And this is what I still do to this day. Okay, hey, Kelly, welcome to set. I go, hey, bruh, here's my trailer. You need to knock on the door once. I will come out. I'm in hair, I'm in makeup, I've done my thing. I'm a problem solver.
Mhm.
You had a question. The question is, are we going to have a good person for this thing? Are we going to have a... You have a million problems to solve. I'm not one of them. You got 99 problems, but Kelly Perine ain't goddamn one.
I heard that remix.
Come and get me, and I'll do all that.
Sure.
I knew I was a problem solver because I had trained. I had gone to school. I understand the beats. I understood what was going on. I read the material before I came in, and I was ready to help. If you're on a set and you see someone who's a problem, that person is probably ill prepared.
Good point.
You think so? Why do you say that?
If I didn't think so, I wouldn't have just said it.
But there are people that have been in this business a long, long time, and well-known actors and actresses that are problem people that know what they're doing, but they're just a pain in the ass.
Yes, but they're also stars, and people will put up with that because they believe that their behavior will be trumped by the money they make by having them in a project. It's not rocket science.
So you're talking about the lower level actors.
I'm not talking about the lower level actors. I'm talking about every actor.
Right.
A huge actor who's a problem is also someone who has insecurities. We all have insecurities. But I'll tell you what, you pay me $50 million for something, you're not going to have a problem with me on the set.
Exactly.
Right.
Pay me $25 million. Anybody out there?
Can we get $100,000?
Can we, God damn, which camera do I need to fucking look at? I won't be a problem.
Sure, I get it. Sure, no.
But they make all the decisions based on, well, he's bankable. They're bankable. They can make money. They can make us, they can overseas. They can sell something. They can do all that. Bankable. They can do this. They can do, it's all money.
Right. The money overlooks.
Of course the money overlooks. Stop acting like we're not where we are.
knows that.
No, right.
Believe me. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
I'm on your side.
No. So wrapping it with this concept, you're now really, some people would still say at the midpoint, another 30, 40 years potentially. Money is not an issue, which we know isn't reality, but we're pretending about winning the lottery. What does Kelly want to be able to do and continue looking forward to each day that brings him happiness, despite all the politics and frustrations of this industry?
Yeah, no, look, Kelly enjoys being on set. Look, I always say that I am a person who comes from the Little Rascals school of filmmaking, of collaboration. And that means that, oh, Darla, she has, a barn where we can put on the play. This guy Spanky has, his dad's going to do this. We can do that. We can do this. And I come from a collaborative understanding of Little Rascals, and we'll put on a play and it'll be fantastic. And we will all rise the tide, and we will all have a great time, and we will all be okay.
And isn't that an analogy for us as a people?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. Sure. I love everybody. Black, white, red, LGBTQI plus, minus, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what it is now. I don't know. I love all of them. Cool. Yes, we're at a point now where there's a fight between that. I'm not going to get into that.
Mm-hmm. Really?
But I'm from the collaborative school of it. And what I want to do, and the reason I'm trying to do my own stuff, the reason I need to have some power is because I will share it. There's a lot of people who have the power that won't share it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Very true.
I want to do Little Rascals movies where we all do great.
Mm-hmm.
Where this person gets their thing, and this person gets that thing, and this editor and this gaffer gets paid what they're worth.
Sure.
And that's what I want to do. So if there are any studios out there, because I got great script ideas. And I also understand, I personally have a belief in the concept of enough. I believe that there's a point where I have enough.
Right. You could always want more, but you can be happy.
I'm be okay. And I have enough if everybody has enough. Because I want to go to your beach house, and I want to go to your beach house, and I want all of us to have enough to be great. And that's not the philosophy of a lot of people. They want it all. That's what's wrong with this industry right now. And we know it, and we understand it, and we see it. And those people need to be weeded out from here. They need to be driven out. Because what we do is collaborative. Those people need to disappear from our collective creative understanding. They need to get out of here.
Nope, I hear you. You've heard it from Kelly Perine himself, 30 years veteran in the industry, really looking for us to kind of get back to where we were. Not only the Little Rascals, which certainly wasn't yesterday, but more collaboration, more cooperation, less greed, more sharing. Certainly idealistic, hopefully it could be realistic, and we keep hoping with more and more of our community involved that we'll achieve that.
And needs funding.
Yeah.
For your project.
Right.
Funding.
That's a lot of funding. But it's not 50 million. It's not 50 million. No, we'll do it for two. We'll do it for 200,000, 100,000, 50,000, 25,000. We'll be back. Thanks so much. A pleasure.
Thank you.
I love it.